Welcome everyone. In this video we are going to derive two formulas. One for finding the sine of 2 theta and another one for finding the cosine of 2 theta. Our question is then, what is sine of 2 theta? So what is this, and what is cosine of 2 theta? These two are called double angle formulas because we have the double of our angle theta. I want to start with the sine first. So we have sine of 2 theta. I can express this as well like this: sine of theta plus theta, of course. And do I have a formula for calculating sine of theta plus theta? Well, yes, I do. There is the formula for finding the sine of the sum of two angles. And you can access the derivation of that video from the cards right now. And it is also in the descriptions part. I have a video about it. And it is a nice video, I think. So we know that from that video, we know that sine of alpha plus beta can be expressed as, well, let me write it here as a side note. Sine of alpha plus beta is equal to, as we proved in that video, sine of alpha cosine of beta plus sine of beta and then a cosine of alpha. Great. So if we just substitute theta for alpha and beta, we will get our equation. So we will have sine of theta times cosine of theta plus, I am substituting here now. So we have sine of theta, cosine of theta. And look at this, we have the same term twice, that we can say it is 2 times sine of theta, cosine of theta. And this is one of the equations. We are already halfway done. Great. Now let's move on to cosine of 2 theta. We have cosine of 2 theta is equal to, again I will use the same kind of logic. I will say it is equal to cosine of theta plus theta. And the good thing is I am also able to express the sum of two angles, the cosine of the sum of two angles. And that formula you can also access from the cards right now, and it is also in the descriptions part. That formula turns out to be, as we already proved together, so we have cosine of alpha plus beta. This is equal to cosine of alpha times cosine of beta minus sine of alpha times sine of beta. And if you don't know where these formulas, these two, come from, I really suggest that you watch the derivations, because otherwise this video is pointless. I mean, if you don't know the general formulas, well then, what is the purpose of this video? This is just a special case. So please make sure that you understand how we are able to arrive at these two equations. So this is equal to then cosine of theta times another cosine of theta, because we have cosine of alpha, cosine of beta, and alpha and beta are both theta in our case, minus sine of theta, sine of beta. So we have then cosine times cosine, so cosine square root of theta, minus sine times sine, sine times sine, sine square root of theta. And this is the other equation. We could stop here, this is great, but I don't really want to stop, because there are two other ways of representing cosine of 2 theta, and they are helpful in deriving the half angle formulas, and in the future we will derive them, so I want to state those two formulas as well. They come from this idea. They say, look, we know that cosine squared of theta plus sine squared of theta is equal to 0. And is equal to 1, I mean. And you might be saying, how do we know this? Well, I have a video about this as well. You can access it from the cards right now and from the descriptions. You can find this video, so you can find this equation. I prove it in a law of cosines video, I guess, to make a simplification. It doesn't have a video of its own, but it is proved in a video. So we can then write for cosine squared of theta 1 minus sine squared of theta. So that's what I do. I write 1 minus sine squared of theta. Then we have another minus, and we have sine squared of theta. So we have 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta. This is another equation, and the last one will be only in terms of cosine. And how do we achieve it? Well, we only achieve it by doing this. Let me do it like this. This is equal to, if I substitute for sine square of theta this time, not for cosine but for sine, I will have cosine square of theta minus, well, what is sine? Look at this formula. We have that sine square of theta is equal to 1 minus cosine square of theta. So I write 1 minus cosine square of theta. If I distribute the negative sign, I get 2 cosine square of theta minus 1 as our final equation for cosine of 2 theta. Anyways, this is it for this video. If you have any questions, please write them in the comment section. I hope to see you in another video. Until then, take care.